You are here. I am only here because of this. When nobody else believes, she believes. You get my family, I send you donations, and you get the money from me, okay? That's why you're so sweet. Oh, well, thank you, and you're so important to us in Washington and in Alabama. Well, I couldn't have gotten here without your help. Never forget people like you did that. I heard you just good to see you again. She has a great farm. All right, I'm ready when you are. You know, that's not.
Nah, bump it. Just got an email, we're supposed to get a transfer.
Okay.
So I want to get called. Hopefully, about 23. 23, but we're on our website. We're on our website.
That is fine. All right. Are you all ready? Good afternoon. I'm Congresswoman Terry Sewell, and I proudly represent Alabama's 7th Congressional District. I am so happy to be in Tuscaloosa and even more thrilled to be able to provide to the West Alabama Food Bank $850,000. You know, we've been going across my district where we've been able to secure $13.1 million in community projects. This funding responds directly to some of the most pressing needs in our community, and it includes monumental expansion right here at West Alabama Food Bank. This transformational funding, $850,000, will support an expansion project that is already well underway. It includes the addition of a new food storage space, a new cooler, and a community kitchen where folks can learn about healthy eating through a partnership with Shelton State Culinary School. Food insecurity is a problem everywhere. But when it's in your back door, you have to be very, very, very grateful that we have such an amazing institution such as the West Alabama Food Bank to offer nutritional food to the people who are in need. And I can tell you that throughout Alabama's 7th Congressional District, we've had food deserts where people can't get fresh vegetables, where people really are desperate to have nutritious food. So you service a lot of counties, and I'm sure Ms. Jean will tell you all the counties, but I know 5 of them are in my district, and we're very, very grateful. I am proud to uplift the life-saving work of West Alabama Food Bank. So far this year, they have already supplied more than 4.1 million meals to those in need. Their services regularly support more than 300,000 families and 2,000 seniors. With these new resources, we know that their reach will only continue to grow. When we free people from worrying about where they get their next meal, we allow them to focus on what really matters. We allow them to explore their interests, to seek out opportunities, and to advance themselves both personally and professionally. And we allow them to focus on their families. When our most vulnerable West Alabamians are in need, it is West Alabama Food Bank that stands in the gap. And I am proud to have secured this funding so that we can continue their essential work. I often say that what we fund in our budget is a reflection on what we value. And I am just so proud that here in West Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, we value people's dignity and the opportunity to make sure that every person has access to food. I also want to, again, just thank the board at the West Alabama Food Bank and all of its great employees and volunteers. I know that this work would not be possible without the help of this entire community, and for that, I say thank you. We're going to bring up Ms. Jean, who can tell you a little bit more about how this $850,000 will be used. But I want you to know, Ms. Jean, and to the wonderful people here, I am truly grateful that West Alabama Food Bank does stand in the gap for those who really need help. So thank you so much, and I look forward to this money being spent so that we can expand those amazing services. With that, I'll bring up Ms. Jean.
Thank you, President. So we are so honored and blessed to have this money come to the West Alabama Food Bank. Thank you so much. We hear so many stories of people who just can't provide the food for their families. Mothers who are waking up during the night wondering where breakfast is going to come from. Parents who are worrying about when they get their kids home from school, are they going to have enough food for dinner? What's going to happen over the weekends when the children are home from school? Will they have enough food? Not only do we worry about just food and calories and things like that, but we also want to make an impact in healthy foods. Healthy foods are not cheap. Healthy foods are not something that you get donated all the time. So a majority of this money we will be using to purchase food to bring the healthier options, fresh produce, fresh eggs, fresh dairy, cheeses, meats into the families where they need to get it. And the other thing about food deserts, we can set up in a parking lot at a church or a fire station all day long. But if the people can't get to us, we can't get to them. So this will enable us to have smaller distributions in smaller communities so that there's not an area where we can't reach. We want to make sure that every child is full when they go to bed, they have a great breakfast before they go to school or start their day of play. We want to make sure that every senior has the meals that they need to take, that they don't have to worry about if their medication is going to interfere or is not going to support the medication they're taking. And we want to make sure and give that comfort to families to provide this food so that the families can really move on and they don't have to pay. We can't help with your water bill or your electric bill or that, but we can help with the basic need of food. And we want to make sure every Alabamian has that chance to live the best quality of life they have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to say, Jean reminded me that after this election, we will go back to Congress and hopefully pass a farm bill where we will get more opportunities to provide nutritious meals to families in need. I really want to thank you because I know how important this is to the families that I represent in West Alabama, and it wouldn't be made possible if we weren't able to provide this community project money. And for the first 10 years that I was in Congress, we couldn't have direct congressional spending where members of Congress could literally direct where the money would go. And so this $850,000 is a part of a $13.1 million federal funding opportunity for Alabama's 7th Congressional District. And I am thrilled that we were able to provide it right here in West Alabama Food Bank. But I also just know that it's not enough. And so when I think about how others can help, I hope that this will spur more volunteers, more folks who are going to give to West Alabama Food Bank. I know that it's going to allow you to provide more meals to more people. But I also know that by expanding this place, you also have an opportunity to expand your services to others that are in need. And so with that, I'm going to open it up for questions before we take a photo, and I'm sure you want your board to be with you on the photo as well. Are there any questions?
Jean, first, if you could say and spell your first and last name for
Sure.
everyone.
Jean, Jean, last name Rykaczewski.
What is going to be the plan going forward with, and if you already have the money, if you know where you're going to get it, as far as the steps in terms of either the kitchen, the additional food space, and the other areas where the West Alabama Food Bank will stand?
Well, I can tell you, since we passed the 2024 budget late, she hasn't gotten the money yet.
Yes.
But I can truly say the check is in the mail.
Yes, so we're going to be what they call buying down, or using the money as we expend it. And so using that money for things that we purchase going forward, for food purchases, for additional gas for the trucks to be able to get into those areas. You know, we're in Alabama. We still have dirt roads. We still have areas where you have to print out a map because there's not cell service. So enabling us to be able to get into those communities and really impact the families there is what we're working for. You know, sometimes we have to go around bridges because the bridge isn't weighted enough for our truck. So instead of going 5 miles, we're going 45. And so, you know, that's just reality in our world. And we want to make sure that we can do that. And so, you know, operating our trucks, bringing our, you know, truck driving is a valuable commodity here in town. Being able to pay our truck drivers so we have the food gets there safely, it gets there in the right condition, the right temperatures, the right everything. So that's what this money is going to be used for. It's going to help us to move forward and impact more people.
Is that the kitchen where the cooking
This
class
is
will
the
take?
kitchen.
Yes.
This is our kitchen.
This is it's a partnership with Shelton State.
Right, it's a partnership with Shelton State, University of Alabama Nutrition Department. There's a couple of, you know, groups who are partnering with this. And not only do we hope to teach how to make inexpensive meals, but how to really, you know, buy that large pack of chicken, cut it up, put it into different bags, put the spices in or the marinades in, whatever you want to put, to be able to have quick meals for families. You know, going to Chick-fil-A or McDonald's is expensive now. And so if people start learning how to cook at home and having it prepped at home on the weekend, so that when they come home from work and they're tired, they can still put that nutritious meal in front of their family, you know, just to better the family's health.
Ms. Jean?
Yes.
In the counties that we serve at West Alabama Food Bank, the ranges of food insecurity range from 15 to 31%.
Correct.
What other initiatives or funding would be necessary to even see that percentage drop significantly?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things. Congressman Sewell and I talked about them. You know, breakfast for all the children.
Yeah.
You know, there's not, you know, we had a problem this year with summer feeding, where we didn't have universal summer feeding, where it was put on the SNAP cards for the children who qualified. You know, that really makes a lot of sense in our area. If I sit out in a library, but families have to come to me to get breakfast and lunch during the summer, the parents have to get up, all the kids have to be in the car, they're running the gas, they're running the air conditioning if they have it. You know, then you're sitting in line waiting for this food. If they just put the money on the SNAP cards or the EBT cards, the family can add it to their budget and really make their budget go farther. So things like that we're advocating for, that we've talked about, that providing, you know, the farm bill that produces so much good food for us. We have a bill that's a farmer to table bill right now that we deal with at local farmers. We actually buy the produce from the local farmers. These are all great programs that just need to continue.
Thank you. Congresswoman
Yes.
Sewell, you were saying that for a majority of Alabamians who are food insecure, a lot of those families are within your district.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing or think is the root cause of that, and what are you trying to do outside of obviously donations like this, but hopefully to allow families to bring in that type of income or be able to have that stability?
Well, let me start by saying I know what's possible from my district with resources and opportunities. I'm from this district, and I know full well what opportunities and funding can provide. Having said that, I know also that there are many children that go without, families that go without. And what they're asking for is not a hand out, they're asking for a hand up. And that's exactly what West Alabama Food Bank offers. And so there are so many social determinants of poverty, transportation, education, the lack of access to health care. I could go on and on and on. But I think that for me, my job as a member of Congress is to make sure that the resources are there for that mother, for that family, in order to get the food and nutrition that they need. And so the Farm Bill is critically important. It not only funds the SNAP program for the coming year, it also provides real resources to farmers. And we in Alabama benefit greatly for the subsidized help that we provide our farmers with. And so I look forward after this election of going back to Washington, doing what we call the lame duck session, where we'll pass the 2025 budget. We'll also pass the Farm Bill and the National Defense Authorization. We have a lot of things that we need to do. I sat on the Agriculture Committee my very first term during a Farm Bill, and I can tell you how necessary our Farm Bill is, not just to our farmers and ranchers and those that are producing the food, but for those of us who consume the food as well. So we have a lot of work to do. And, in my district, I have to often remind my colleagues that everybody has a story about, standing in line to and someone ahead of you has an EBT card with a steak and you have bologna. The reality, though, is that the 70% of those that are on food stamps in my district, 70% have children under the age of 16. There are seniors who are barely getting by. And so that's the face of food insecurity that motivates me, and also I know motivates a lot of my colleagues to make sure that these kinds of programs are fully funded.
Jean, can you speak to the importance of the food bank since inflation has been so high? Have you all seen an increase of people needing to come in and get food from you all?
Absolutely. A lot of people have the misconception of, the food bank's just there for the poor. That's not true. We service many people who just fall between the gaps sometimes. There's somebody loses their job, there's a death in the family, there's an accident, there's a birth where the child ends up spending a lot of time in NICU, a lot of times in Birmingham, and now they're driving back and forth. There's many scenarios that put a family into a food insecure situation. And so what we have seen this year is more people who were pretty much the middle class now falling into that food insecure. Let's face it, insurance has gone up, power's gone up, water has gone up, the cost of gas hovers somewhere. Housing has gone up, to rent an apartment has gone up, everything has gone up, food costs have gone up. Seniors used to typically get about $15 on their SNAP card. Yeah. In today's world, that's a pound of lunch meat and a loaf of bread for the month. It doesn't go far. And so by providing this extra money and for us to be able to get into the areas where the seniors are, we can get this food to them and they don't have to lose their dignity about it. That's why opening this building and putting the new shiny, updated face on it was so important to us, because we don't want people to think, oh, I'm going to the food bank. We want this to be a place where they come, where they feel welcomed, and where they know that there's no line that we, can't get over.
Yeah.
My last question, will this money have a direct impact on what you'll be able to do to be able to feed families during the upcoming holidays?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, anytime you bring money in, coming to the holidays, but I'm glad you brought up the holidays. That's when people think of food banks, during the holidays. But I would like to remind people that hunger is an everyday thing, not just during the holidays. But that's when we think about hunger the most, because people are sitting around family tables. And, actually we have a lot of people who don't have families to sit with, who don't have the food to put on those tables. And so that's where we're hoping to make that bridge and, make sure that everybody enjoys their holiday season.
Ms. Jean, you talked about how this is going to go towards buying healthy foods because the foods that people donate are not normally healthy.
Correct.
With upcoming holiday seasons and food giving seasons and drives, what foods do you want to see come in that would actually benefit people that you're giving it to?
So, you know, cereals, things like that. They, you know, they have a lot of, you know, there's some cereals that are bad, but there's a lot of nutritional value in cereals. Oatmeal, things like that. You know, granola bars, breakfast bars that families can get out quick. Things that people don't talk about: sugar, flour, oil. You know, that you need to like make your pancakes with. You need to, you know, the can of Pam to spray your, to make, you know, there's all those other things that go with, you know, giving you a box of food. You need those other things too. So this holiday season, you know, think outside the box of just what a typical box would be. You know, you want to make the green bean casserole, but we got the green beans, but you don't have the other stuff to go with it. Or you want to make the yams, but you don't have the brown sugar.
And I can't tell you how fortunate we are to have the West Alabama Food Bank right here in our community. And I just wanted to again tell you, Jean, and your amazing board and all the volunteers, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I think we're ready to hold this check. Yeah. Do you want to move this out of the way? What do you want to do?
Yeah, if we can move the podium, that would be great. You want to move the podium, where you want me to slide it back? Okay, let me slide it back. Yes, that'd be perfect.
So I think you and I should do the first one and then bring up your board.
Okay, perfect. Is it all right if we slide these microphones back?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey.
All right, we're gonna start right here in the middle. On three, 1, 2, 3. An instant gratification on the iPad. On three, 1, 2, 3. Awesome.
So let's look to the left. I don't know if you. Yeah.